Well, last week we played for you an episode of the new show on the E! Channel called the E! Fake Hollywood Story, which is a kind of a spinoff of their very popular show, the E! True Hollywood Story. Well, the newest episode aired last night, and since it's such an interesting show, we thought we'd play a tape of that for you. Frankie, if you'd roll that for us?
Gladly, sure.
On this episode of the E! Fake Hollywood Story, we profile Lee Majors, the ruggedly handsome star of the extremely popular TV shows The $6 Million Man and The Fall Guy. Lee Majors is the star of this E! Fake Hollywood Story. Lee Majors was born Mujibar Patel in the bathroom of an old deli in New Delhi, India, where his parents made a living selling Amway products out of the back of an orange Chevy Nova with a blue door that smelled like curry.
After unsuccessfully lobbying to have Rip Taylor's birthday declared an Indian national holiday, Lee's dad moved the family to America, where the opportunities to write songs for supergroups like ABBA and Boston were much greater.
Soon after penning the Kansas classic Carry On My Wayward Son, Lee's dad died in a tragic soapbox derby accident at the annual Boy Scout Jamboree in Phoenix. Soapbox derby. Tragic accident. Lee's dad in Phoenix. That one. Work on that later. Tragically died. Soapbox derby accident. Lee's dad.
And so,
Boy Scout Jamboree.
despite being only 5 years old and having a turnip for a penis, Lee was forced to be the family's breadwinner. For a short time, Lee began designing golfing apparel for farm animals. But work was scarce, so he began acting in local commercials.
After that, he began acting in national commercials and then got several TV roles. But when it became apparent that he wasn't very good, he was soon forced to go back to acting in local commercials.
After being rejected by the Sherman Hemsley School of Dramatic Arts, young Lee tried to commit suicide by shoving 100 Tic Tacs up his nose and laughing until root beer came out of his nostrils.
3 episodes of Full House later, however, Lee was still very much alive. So then he tried to kill himself by going to sleep wearing a turtleneck sweater that was way too tight.
When this too failed, Lee took it as a sign that he was meant to live. So 15-year-old Lee then packed up his car and drove to Hollywood, where he shared an apartment with Kiki D, Chuck Barris, and the guy who designed the San Diego chicken costume.
Lee's first film role was in the spaghetti western called Ravioli Ponderosa, where he played a sheriff who tried to rid his town of creators of all protein diets that tell people that eating pasta is bad.
Following that Oscar-winning performance was his Emmy-winning guest spot on Family Affair, where he made us weep with his moving portrayal of Mr. French's gay lover Emilio.
Not long after inventing the George Foreman laser vaginal rejuvenator, Lee heard about a pilot called The $6 Million Man. After being the only person to show up at the audition, Lee got the part and became the idol of hundreds.
Despite his hectic shooting schedule, Lee still found time to become an expert on cinnamon-flavored chewing gum and to work as a dolphin trainer at SeaWorld in Orlando.
But his hard work and determination, Lee Majors has become one of the best actors named Lee ever to play a bionic man, and says that he has no regrets. Except perhaps for hiring his son-in-law to manage Ruth's Chris Steakhouse that he bought in Placentia. This is Elmer Fudd.
We hope you've enjoyed this E! Fake Hollywood Story. Now stay tuned for E's Wild on Washington, D.C. coming up next.